Hey, what's up? Seventyne here with a short recap of 2016's Big 5 E3 conferences. Last year, E3 introduced Bethesda to the table of big publisher conferences, and they came with a bunch of games and an extreme amount of hype with Fallout 4. Matching that this year was always going to be a struggle, but they did still have some interesting things to show. The Quake IP will be making a return after almost 6 years lying dormant, only this time the game will be following the hero shooter genre that has become extremely popular lately, and for good reason. Titled Quake Champions, the game will have abilities like wall hacks, blinking, unstoppable charges and more that will be tied to specific characters, evolving from the game's roots in the arena shooter genre. While some were disappointed that Quake wasn't going to be the bare bones kind of FPS, I'm actually kind of pleased, as I personally don't think a game like that is interesting anymore and requires a little bit extra depth to its gameplay.
Good morning, Morgan. You're not going to like what I have to say next.
Following along with the year of Bethesda Resurrections, Prey was also announced, carrying with it a very Dead Space-esque feel as you fight for survival against various smoke monsters, while your character looks to be also fighting against an illness from the more and more bloodshot eyes shown at the beginning of the trailer. Your psyche is also tested as you talk to yourself via a mirror that looks to reveal your current circumstances. Dishonored 2 was the main focus of their conference, dedicating a lot of time to showing off gameplay and introducing some new mechanics to the franchise, along with a brand new engine. The game centers around two rivalry factions, and you'll have to pick a side to fight for, with your decision changing the course of the story and endgame. Some of the new features include a dynamic weather system that will aid or inhibit the AIs and your visibility while traveling across the city, while you'll also be able to play as either Emily Caldwin or as Corvo Atano. No doubt they'll be interchangeable between each of the missions. Bethesda will be stepping up their support for virtual reality, bringing in two of their latest major titles, Fallout 4 and Doom, to be VR capable. While I could see Fallout 4 working alright in VR, I'm not so sure about Doom because of just how fast paced the game is, but we'll have to wait and see, and perhaps if it does work, it could be the game that really ignites the VR industry for core titles. Outside of their conference, Bethesda also revealed that they are currently working on an Elder Scrolls 6 that is currently very early on in development, as well as teasing that they are currently working on two upcoming games that will be as big or bigger than Skyrim and Fallout.
Oh, they're right on top! Oh no! Whoa! Alright, man the cannon!
Microsoft took to the stage next with a new trailer for Rare's new open-world multiplayer pirate game, Sea of Thieves. While the trailer didn't show much at all, the gameplay shown afterwards did, with ship battles, exploration and drinking being the main takeaways. The gameplay was good to see, but ultimately didn't show, at least for me, what I wanted to see. The pirate ship battles were kind of a given. I wanted to see other features that might be in the game, like shipbuilding, town building, treasure, and in particular I wanted to see exactly how the multiplayer was going to work in terms of players on a server and interactions. Overall, both the trailers were a little bit disappointing, but I'm still interested to see more of the game. However, it has been delayed into 2017 from its original 2016 release schedule for PC and Xbox One. State of Decay 2 was up next, with the biggest takeaway being that the game will now have multiplayer capability, a long requested feature of the original. The trailer consisted of half CGI footage and half of what looked to be in-game, with some scenes, like this one inside the building, actually reminding me a ton of The Last of Us in art style. Other than that, the game also showed off some of its rebuilding mechanics and exploration.
Wonderful.
Scalebound, the co-op game with Dragon, showed off some gameplay taking place during a boss fight. Unfortunately, this didn't really do it for me. The combat looked uninteresting and the graphics looked muddy and low resolution. I like the look of the original reveal trailer that was released last year, but this one didn't do the game any good in my opinion, really showing the limitations that the Xbox One still has. The puzzle action game Recon revealed a new trailer showing off the various robots that you can control and use to get through certain situations and puzzles during the game. This game made a big splash at last year's E3 and I was hoping for a little bit more of the game to be shown, but alas, it only held a trailer spot at the conference.
One who comes to find me when my time is through, I know
The spin-off real-time strategy game Halo Wars 2 was revealed with a fantastic cinematic CGI trailer that introduces the commanders for both sides for the war, with the game taking place right after the events of Halo 5. A gameplay trailer was shown afterwards that was a little bit more colourful than the CGI trailer following the red versus blue theme. Also announced along with the two trailers was that the game is now available to play in its beta testing phase on Xbox One until the 20th of June. We Happy Few had a gameplay trailer shown, and while the game's art style and first trailer had me curious, this latest trailer has me extremely excited to explore the world. This is a spoiler for the trailer, so if you care, I suggest going and watching it now and then coming back. The base story for the game though is that every single person in the community is taking hallucinogenic drugs that keep them happy and cheerful. When you stop taking these drugs though, it's suddenly revealed that not everything is as it seems, with a piñata meant to be filled with candy explodes with blood to reveal that it's actually a dead rat, and the drugs were causing you to see it differently. This concept is extremely interesting to me, so I'll definitely be checking this game out. Forza Horizon 3 brought a trailer and some gameplay to show, revealing that the game will be set in Australia, and as an Aussie myself I have to say it looked pretty damn fantastic. It's kind of odd watching gameplay for a game and it actually looking like the streets and roads just outside. Something I imagine Americans have become accustomed to, but this is the first time Australia has been shown in this way that is distinctively different from the many other racing games out there in terms of environment. After buying Minecraft, Microsoft has been looking for new ways to make things interesting for the game. Last year it was HoloLens integration, and this year it was cross-platform play between almost every electronic device in the world, and texture packs that you can purchase for the Xbox One. Oh, and this.
Well, clearly, you did that just for the achievement.
Yep, an Xbox Live achievement on an iPad on stage at E3. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah. Microsoft took some time out to reveal some new hardware for the near and the far future, the first being the Xbox One S, basically just a slimmer Xbox One, and their smallest console yet. More interesting though was their plans for console hardware in the future with Project Scorpio, a new console that is touting 4K 60 frames per second gameplay capability and will be VR ready, integrating with the Oculus Rift. By the sounds of all that, this will be an enthusiast console, so don't expect this to be cheap. Rumours are that this console will also have a modular design, allowing it to be upgraded and possibly eliminating the need to upgrade an entire console every couple of years. So basically it will become a locked down computer, but with how fast technology is moving in the gaming industry, it's almost required. Again, the modularity is just a rumour, but the quote "today marks the beginning of gaming beyond generations" really does sound like this is the way Microsoft will be going. EA's conference was probably the most disappointing, with all their big IPs still in development except for Battlefield 1. The Star Wars IP will be thrown around the numerous EA studios, with 2 new action-adventure games coming from Titanfall developers at Respawn Entertainment and Dead Space developers at Visceral Games. A new Battlefront will also be released next year, hopefully with a lot more content.
Protect the pilot.
Mass Effect Andromeda only showed off bits and pieces via cinematic/dev trailer, so not much to say here. Titanfall 2 was shown though with a full single player trailer, which does have me interested to see where they go from the first game, as it wasn't a bad game, it just needed a lot more. The actual Titans look like they'll be taking on more of an intelligent AI role as your partner, being able to speak and act on their own. Multiplayer gameplay footage was also shown, and it looks to be expanding upon the original's movement system, now with added grapples and some more interesting weaponry for both the humans and the Titans, including a massive red laser beam and melee weaponry.
I haven't seen a kid coming out of the exit trials generate this much interest in years.
Of course, it wouldn't be an EA conference without EA Sports, and this time the focus was on FIFA 17, with the game making its transition over onto the incredible Frostbite engine. The game will also have what looks to be a pretty in-depth single player campaign as you follow a rookie player all the way up to the big leagues. Lastly, Battlefield 1 revealed a new trailer taking a closer look at combat taking place in between townhouses, which revealed that Battlefield will finally be returning to full-out destruction. After the conference was done, there was a 1-hour live stream event of pure Battlefield 1 gameplay, and it looks pretty damn good. Especially impressive, or at least something that looked really awesome, was the giant airships crashing back down to the ground, taking out any buildings, vehicles and players in the way.
Damn it, he dodged it.
Hang on, guys. I'm nearly there.
Oh, damn it. Okay, I got him. Yes, he stopped. I'll get him.
Be careful. Ride's here.
Out you get, buddy. Hurry up, we got cartel reinforcements incoming. Up you get, and in you go. Adios.
Ubisoft didn't really have anything brand new to show off and wow the audience with, unfortunately, this year. Instead though, we took a further look at Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands via a new trailer and gameplay footage. The features on display were the open world with drop in and out co-op even while on missions. The game also looks like it'll be focused more so on being stealthy than going all out, and I hope it sticks to that, or at least punishes you for being noticed by enemies.
Why did we choose this life? Why did we become superheroes? We dedicate our lives to fighting crime for one reason: to make $1 billion on a superhero franchise.
The sequel to the wildly successful South Park game showcased the beginning of the game with character creation and the fourth wall breaking narration from Cartman. The combat will be going through pretty big changes too, introducing movement, cover and environmental obstacles to take advantage of. Just like the first, the comedy seems to be absolutely on point. Ubisoft's VR entry will be with Eagle Flight VR, a high-flying game of capture the flag where 2 teams of 3 duke it out as screeching eagles. It actually looks pretty interesting, but it's going to require an additional 5 people also playing to be able to get a game, and I'm not exactly sure how much of a player base there currently is in the VR space. Following on with their virtual reality segment, Star Trek Bridge Crew was also revealed, where players will take a seat at the helm of a Star Trek starship controlling the various sectors like engineering or taking on the role as captain. The gameplay wasn't really explored too well, but I imagine it will put you in high stress situations that you'll have to communicate and work together to succeed.
And yet, here they still stand, searching for a sign of peace. I will show them. I am Apollyon. I bring war.
For Honor brought along an extremely cool CGI trailer detailing the story behind the game, that being a somewhat apocalyptic event along with the reveal of the game's bad guy and the fact that the game will have a fully fledged single player campaign. Gameplay footage was shown afterwards and it looked pretty good. You'll be cutting your way through these low level enemies on your way to semi-boss fights that'll put you into a fight stance to defeat them. A sequel to Grow Home titled Grow Up was revealed and looks to expand on the gameplay features of the first game and allowing you to explore your surroundings even further. A new Trials game was also revealed and will be using the Blood Dragon DLC from Far Cry 4 as its theme and officially released as soon as the conference had concluded.
The exit strategy range setup for us is one of many ways the player could use to leave the penthouse.
Holy fuck, this is awesome.
You can poop your pants later, man. Because we are just getting started.
Watch Dogs 2, although being shown off before the conference, had an in-engine trailer and then some gameplay. The game seems to be going even edgier, with the leader of DedSec pretty much being the edgelord, but the gameplay itself looks pretty similar to the first, with a couple more gadgets available and more environmental objects that you can hack into, like remote controlling cars. He is hoping for Ubisoft's sake that the game actually runs well, as that was the main reason I stopped playing the original. With Ubisoft's IP, Assassin's Creed, being turned into a movie and about to release, they showed off some footage from the movie as well as some commentary from Michael Fassbender, the star of the film. During the Watch Dogs 2 portion, it was also revealed that Watch Dogs will be made into a movie as well. Finally, Ubisoft revealed a brand new IP, although it probably didn't have the hype factor that they may have been expecting. Steep will be their brand new extreme sports title based in the snow, with wingsuits, paragliders, snowboarding and skiing all being available to play. The game looked like it was purely open world and with no story or any objective from the demo they showed, but I highly doubt they would release without anything of the kind. Its focus though is to just mess around in giant snowy mountain sandbox, and for those interested in sports games this may have been a really exciting title, but for me it just fell really flat.
No! You are not ready! Stay back!
PlayStation had a big task ahead of them to make their conference even half as hype as last year's, but somehow they managed to outdo themselves with an absolutely fantastic lineup of core titles, and by being the first company to actually step into the virtual reality scene with some very interesting titles. Starting off the conference with an orchestral piece that led straight into the new God of War 4 gameplay footage was a fantastic introduction. The God of War gameplay has taken a massive leap away from the other games in the series, embracing a more Witcher 3 feel that looks absolutely gorgeous. You'll still be playing as Kratos, at least from the beginning of the game, but there is a chance that you'll take over control of Kratos' son later on. The enemies you'll face will be changing quite drastically too now that most of the Greek gods are dead. Instead you'll be facing off against a new mythology, taking on Norse gods like Thor and Odin. Horizon Zero Dawn gameplay was shown over an extended unedited cut showing off crafting, combat, exploration and role-playing features of the game. The game's world is a fascinating one, filled with awesome mechanical beings roaming the lands. The combat will be about finding your enemy's weaknesses while being able to dodge extremely fast attacks coming your way. There was something a little bit off with the characters' facial animations during one of the conversations, but the rest of the game shown looked really good, and will probably be a hit for any fans of the Far Cry series. While many thought this next game was possibly a Last of Us sequel, it actually turned out to be a brand new IP titled Days Gone. Playing as a biker travelling the countryside, you'll be facing off against massive hordes of zombies, and I say massive for a reason. During the gameplay demo, we saw a horde of around 200 zombies or more chasing the character, and these are the kind of zombies that can run. Now I am a little skeptical about this, as I have seen demos like this before with massive amounts of enemies on the screen, and when the game releases there is barely half of that number, so just keep that in mind. However, if they do manage to pull those numbers off, this game could be incredible.
I trust you.
You lied to me, Connor. You lied to me.
Gameplay for Detroit Become Human was shown via a trailer as an android attempts to talk down a hostage situation. The trailer's twist came when they revealed that there will be numerous endings available for the situation that could end with both the hostage and hostage taker falling off the building, or both of them being saved. Graphically, the game looks beautiful, and as with Quantum Dreams games, this will most likely have gameplay very similar to that seen in the Telltale Games series, being highly story-based, focusing around dialogue or action choices and consequences. As for their VR showings, the one we saw the most of was Resident Evil 7 that had a demo playable right after the conference for both VR and just normal play. The trailer showed that you'll be playing as a man behind the camera as you explore an old abandoned building searching for one of your friends. A Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing mission will also be coming to VR as you pilot an X-Wing in space, fighting off Empire ships, and the game's graphics do look pretty good, especially compared to some of the other games that have had to deal with performance issues. A Batman game was also announced featuring the voice of the Joker, but no solid footage to see what the game would actually be like. Having a Batman VR game focused around a scarecrow hallucination would be pretty incredible, but we'll have to wait and see. A sci-fi shooter exploration game called Farpoint will have you fighting massive monsters on Mars, or at least a planet that looks like Mars, which looks to have some pretty cool visual spectacles to behold. Horror game Here They Lie was also revealed with its sepia graphics style, and finally for VR it was revealed that you'll be able to play Final Fantasy 15 with it when it releases.
Faintly, I'll go to take this head on.
The last game shown, and probably the best kept secret of E3 this year, was Hideo Kojima's new game being revealed after Kojima himself shot down any rumours about him presenting anything at this year's E3. Death Stranding is the title of the game, and in typical Kojima fashion, we know near to nothing about the game except the main character will be played by The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus, and that the game's theme will most likely be about humans messing with nature in some way. It was also revealed later on that this picture that Kojima released a couple of months ago is actually Norman Reedus in the suit. Altogether, the best conference of E3 2016 has to go to PlayStation, with just an unrelenting torrent of amazing titles announced and shown off. There were good parts for each of the conferences though, so let's have a look. Bethesda's most interesting reveal was Prey. I could easily see people picking Dishonored 2, but for me, I'm more interested in the first-person shooter horror genre, and Prey did look really cool. Microsoft's good was State of Decay 2. Even though there was only small glimpses of gameplay shown, it did look pretty good and will be expanding upon the adored original. EA's has to go to Battlefield 1. Despite being the only real core title that they showed off, Battlefield 1 is looking to be a fantastic game, with the gameplay demo after the conference really showing what the game was capable of. Ubisoft's goes to For Honor. What already looked to be a fantastic medieval multiplayer brawler is getting even better with what looks to be a rich story-based single-player campaign. PlayStation's was a little bit harder to decide because of all of the great games shown off, but after some deliberation it has to go to God of War 4. This game will be breaking away from its predecessors in what looks to be an incredible action-adventure game taking you through Norse mythology and fighting massive bosses. There were also some rumours that the sequel Red Dead Redemption 2 was meant to be shown at E3, but unfortunately due to similarities of the trailer and the recent shootings in America, Rockstar decided it was best not to show the trailer and reveal the game at a later date. Also, there's another rumour floating around that Halo 6 will be coming to PC and would make sense with Microsoft's current stance on exclusives for Xbox One and Windows 10. Anyway, that's it for all the major E3 conferences for 2016. I hope you've enjoyed this quick look coverage of them all, and I'm looking forward to trying out some of these new games in the near future. If you want to check out all of the E3 trailers yourself, you can do so by following the link down below to e3recap.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.